What's going on, guys? Welcome to Poeboys. I'm inside of Yeet. Hola! Still can't get enough of this freaking thing right here. Oh, my lens is fogging up because the dew.
We're going to work on the drift car. So, let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna be doing some angle mods on this thing so we can get better steering angle. So let's go ahead and get started with that, because that is going to be something that's gonna take a lot of time, but at the same time, it's also going to be extremely useful because we're gonna have more angle so we can hit them dank like 90-degree turns and backwards entries and whatnot. We're gonna have to go with some really heavy-duty arms if we want to actually do stuff like that, but honestly, I'm not against it. We could try it. So press that like button and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated, and without further ado, let's get to working on the drift car. Though Tanner just showed up.
It took me 20 minutes to find my left shoe.
Bro, I looked for the keys for this car for literally like 4 hours. What I've seen and what I've done research on is I'm going to take these A-arms out, which means I'm going to take this coilover off, take the brake off, take the tie rod off, and take the A-arm and the hub out with it, and then pull those all out, and then I'm going to have to cut a spindle so that way the steering is a little bit closer, so that way there's more angle. But basically, I'm going to cut the A-arm down a little bit so that way there's less room for the tire to touch. It'll make a lot more sense here in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. Alright guys, so basically I'm taking off the tie rod right here. I found out that I need new tie rod inners. If you can tell, oh my bad, just yeeted the camera. There's a little bit of play in there, and that's not good for steering. It makes it loose, and that's just not good overall. So we're gonna go ahead and replace those whenever we do the arms. Gonna do inner and outer tie rods because it's not too hard. And the car's gonna need alignment after this anyways. So might as well replace them so that way we have brand new steering whenever we do all this. To get a tie rod out, you get a pickle fork, you eat that hoe in there. So that way, if you are reusing the tie rod, because most people usually do, jam up the threads by hitting them with a hammer. Don't do that, and if you do, put the bolt back on top. But if you got a pickle fork, which you can get these for free if you borrow them at a parts store like your local O'Reilly's or Advanced, just yonk it in there, and she'll come loose eventually. There it is. Brake shield is in the way. Have to bend that real quick. We're not gonna need to use that where we're going. We'll make a custom one. But there we go, tie rod's off. Well, it's a good thing we took it apart because now I know that all this stuff was loose as balls. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take the rest of this stuff apart and get this arm off, and then go to the parts store, get the parts I need, and then we'll go ahead and put it all back together, and then cut the arm and do all the custom stuff. And then we'll be good. Welcome to the hood, bro. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. Ball joints are freaking trashed on that. That's how it goes, right? Low key, we're just building a spaceship. We're gonna put the boosters right here. All right, guys. So we have all this. Well, the coilover's still in there, but all of the like A-arm and the spindle and ball joint and everything are out. Brake rotor's right there, brakes right here, just hanging on the shock. Now it's time to work on this guy. So I need to get eventually new bushings, I need to get a new ball joint, and I need to get new tie rods. So me and Tanner are going to go to KFC and to the parts store and get some stuff.
Hi.
Oh. Thanks for getting that off the house.
Get off me roof. No.
Gang. Alright guys, so I went ahead and got the passenger side, everything done, and if you watch the Chris Fix video, you pretty much know what I did here, but the things that you don't know how to do from the video that he has is stuff that you see right here. I'm going to be making my own A-arms, custom making my own A-arms, so I'm going to go ahead and do it a little bit cheaper way, but since I have a little bit of resources, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of them, so that way I have less movement on the tire, and it's probably going to look something along the lines of something like that. We're also going to take these, and if you can see, let me go ahead and take this brake off. This brake rotor is also just a regular rotor, no slots or drills or anything like that, so we're probably going to end up switching those out for the drilled and slotted ones that came on Yeet. But if you can see, the steering is like that. We're going to go ahead and cut these and put them in a little bit so that way the steering angle doesn't have to move as much. I'll have to show you here in a little bit. I'll show you whenever I get all this stuff up. It's too dark to do grinding and cutting right now, but I'll go ahead and do it tomorrow morning. So let's go ahead, button all this up, and my little makeshift garage I got going on here is actually pretty dope. Let's go ahead and button all this stuff up and get back at it tomorrow. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start off these guys right here. This is the driver's side A-arm. And we're gonna go ahead and pull this ball joint off. So we're gonna go ahead and get a ball joint puller that you can get at O'Reilly's or Advanced. This ball joint, you can see right here, the boot is just completely gone, and like there's a ton of play in it, and it's just bad. So we need to take it out, take off this bolt, and then go ahead and get the puller. Oh wow, that's not gonna work. I know what will. Oh no. Oh no, 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 my adjustable pry bar. The piece fell off. All right, so here's my spindle and wheel bearing. I'm gonna put that right here on my workbench in my garage. Then this guy, we need to pull that out, which these should not have that much play in them. It's got up and down play, side to side play. These needed to get changed. So let me go ahead and grab handy dandy old ball joint. I'm kind of salty about the whole what I got going on here is a ball joint puller. This right here is holding the bolt in place because the ball joint's so like loose, it wants to just kind of pop out. This is giving it space so that way when the ball joint does pop out, it's got a little room to wiggle and actually get out of place. And then we just tighten up right here. Oh, they moved off to the side. The joys of ball joint pullers. How these things are. Ah, dang it. We've made progress. You can see there's a little line in there. We've made progress. If you see, I'm about to press it out. This ball joint that you see is gonna be going down after I tighten it. This thing is the most stubborn. Ball joint came out. All right, now I pull that guy out. That is a fierce piece. But look at that. That's bad. These are supposed to be like super tight and supposed to have rubber bushings around them. There we go. So we have one A-arm down to where we can cut it. Now we need to get the other one this way. For some reason, Ford used rivets. It's weird because on my other Mustang, they're bolts, but on this one, they're rivets. All right, so got the drill now. I'm gonna see if I can't drill these rivets out. Hopefully I can. I don't know if I can or not, but we're gonna see. There's one. 3 more. Oh, I feel like Thor. Man. Three 8mm bolts could have fixed that. Toyota doesn't use freaking those things. I don't hate Ford. It's just I question why they did some things that they did. And it's just because like cutting costs, but that's why they're cheap. I have one spindle. I'm gonna get ready to cut that. One A-arm right here. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. We're going to be cutting these guys right here. So we'll go ahead and cut this right here, and then we'll use metal that I have to box it in on the side. Pretty much that and that are going to be the lines I'm cutting. And that way we'll have a lot more room for the tire to come up in here, and that way it won't rub whenever it's coming in and turning. Let's go ahead and get started. I need to cut everything from here over. That's what it used to look like with all this, and I just cut out all that. And then we're going to be taking this flat bar. All right. Someone may have just died. Welcome to the hood. All right. I'm going to be taking this flat bar and basically just bending it to make it fit and welding it all in to make it boxed in and straight. Now we're going to cut the other side. All right, I need to flatten that a little bit. It's a nice bend. There we go. Could probably use a little more tightening up right here. These look so much better. You can see the metal I have to box it all in. Because you can see right here, it's disconnected. So this is now a weak point, so I'm gonna add metal and weld it in right there and make it a strong point and tie it all back together. I might even add a brace right here just for extra rigidity, but I don't know, it just depends on what it seems like after it's done. We actually got it good. 2 of these arms done, and now we gotta do spindles. All right, It's a side-by-side comparison, so you can see kind of what I cut off. My tie rod end. Alright, this side up, this side down. If you can see, what I'm going to end up doing is taking this piece right here and putting it right there, so that way there's a lot less stuff there. I'm going to end up putting a good weld on that, grind it down, get a nice bevel on it, and that way I can get some good penetration. And I'm also going to do the same thing to the other side and bring the steering a little closer in. Instead of being out here so it swings wide, it swings super low, so a little movement will do a whole lot more for the axle. It'll make it spin a lot more. Because you see, like, this spins less and that spins more. So I have the welder set up, so let's go ahead and turn the gas on. I went ahead and connected all the lines and everything, set it to that'll be about 10 psi. That'll be good enough. Actually, I'll give it a little more. It's a little windy, so I'll give it a little more. Right here, there is the Eastwood tungsten grinder, so I went ahead and ground that tungsten down pretty good, so that way it's nice and good. I'll get a good weld and I'll be able to direct the puddle pretty solid. What I'm going to end up doing is boxing that in right there, cutting the edges, putting this part right here, cutting the edges, and connecting all of the above. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that.
I'm not the one to underestimate. I want the throne alone to crush obstruction, rush through barricades, levitate. Got it tatted on me, told them follow me. They see the vision, now it's 2020, clear as Tahoe, Lexus, clear as day. No longer move around in fear, disarray. Pray you hear me like the winter wind against your window pane. Feel the bass, baby, soak it in and let it marinate. It's time to hustle, gotta muscle up and run through barricades, yeah.
The welds don't look the best. I was doing it on 110, but I did get proper penetration and weld it all the way down through here. On this side, it looks freaking solid. Now all I gotta do is grind down these small parts right here and then grind this piece so that way it's down. Just use a cutting wheel and then zoop that right there, and then we'll be good. Then we'll start on A-arm number 2.
Obstruction, rush through barricades, levitate. Got it tatted on me, told them follow me. They see the vision, now it's 2020, clear as Tahoe, Lexus, clear as day, no longer.
Now we're gonna let this one dry and go to the next. Looks like a done A-arm to me. Time to do number 2. Hooking up these edges. We went ahead and finished these right here. And these are the A-arms after everything got finished. And man, I'll tell you, these things turned out freaking great. And we're gonna have a lot more steering and a lot more angle that we're allowed to have now that we have these things fixed and put in the way that they are. All they got to do now is get painted, and then we have to start working on these. But that'll happen in the next episode. So thank y'all very much for watching. Next episode, we'll put everything back in the car. Have a great one. Remember to freaking send it. Be great.